This is my road, let it roll. Pack my dreams in a beat-up leather case, left the dust of that suffocating place. They said a girl like me should stay in line, but I'd rather lose their map than lose my mind. Tune the radio to a station playing wild and free. Windows down, smelling like the pine trees. 500 miles and I'm just getting started. Say goodbye to the heavy-hearted. Oh, nobody's holding the reins tonight. I'm chasing the edge of the morning light. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wings and I'm ready to fly. No, yeah, the lines can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah. Now they call me an outlaw, call me a breeze, shaking the leaves right off of the trees. Ain't no speed limits on the choices I make, with every single risk that I happily take. Got a heart like an engine, loud and true, writing my own rules. Nothing brand new, just an old soul singing with the modern beat, dusting off the pavement under my feet. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wind, can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah, ooh, yeah. And if I get lost in the dark of the night, I know my own stars will show me the light. No more shadows to cover my face. I'm running my pace, I'm winning my race. Freedom, yeah, just let it roll.
Well, hello everyone and happy Freedom Friday. Boy, we love Fridays around here. We can talk about everything under the weather, anything you want. We'll of course do a live dig at the end for the Idaho 4 because I've got something really good for you. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Pretty please, swipe down, hit it, swipe back up. You haven't missed anything. And remember, I just have to give you a really short disclaimer. You know the rules. And this is for commentary, education, and entertainment. Opinions are based on public information and, of course, speculation. No accusation, defamation, or legal advice is intended. All persons are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. And viewers should always research and decide for themselves. Great. Now that we got that out of the way, happy Freedom freaking Friday, every single one of you. I am excited today because I've got something really freaking cool for you guys. This stream is going to be fun. We haven't had a fun Friday in a while. And, you know, we're going to be talking about this straight off the bat because I'm sure that a lot of people are taking a look at chlorospora. Right now, the outbreak in the 2026 map is now covering 41 states. And if you are listed in one of these states, be ready. Unfortunately, yes, all the news, wherever you get your news from, yes, that news, are all in agreement that this causes explosive diarrhea. Yes, folks, you heard it right. Now, I just had to run a little, comedy thing because it's no fun to have this. If you guys remember, I had food poisoning back to back for the first couple of months this year, and it was not fun. I don't think it was from my lettuce, but I got to the source of where it could be coming from and we nixed it very quick. All right. So if you are part of the states, now they've expanded it to 41 states. Oh my goodness. I hope that everyone is feeling okay. And unfortunately, I know that some people are not prepared for this upsetting of their stomach. But let me remind you, one powerful thing that can help offset this is, really good electrolytes. Make sure you get the softest toilet paper that you can find. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that there are different parasite cleansing capability and herbs out there that will help this. I mean, we all have parasites. This is just a horrible one to be able to get, especially since they wanted to kind of say Taco Bell, is kind of at fault for this. But let me just tell you, if you had any or you ate Taco Bell and not aware of what happened, this is what happened. So, and if you've never heard about this before, welcome. And I swear they're going to tell us that good, healthy produce is going to kill us, right? Produce is going to kill us. That's the headline today. It's never a recall on candy. Have you ever seen recall on candy? I have never seen a recall on nerds, right? Has anybody seen a recall on nerds? I highly doubt it. But I'm just going to say, I'm going to call this, I'm going to run a campaign. Oh, let me grab my picture. You guys are going to love it. I kind of laugh at myself sometimes. Let me see if it'll load for me. I made this. Let us make regular America. Let us make America regular again. Okay. They're going to kill us with healthy foods. Oh my gosh, I can't stop. This is hilarious. Ah. Okay, before we begin, it is an important public health. It is important PSA. So if you did hear of anyone eating lettuce at Taco Bell, let those of you that know people and obviously, you may want to select a seat if you got to take an airplane in the aisle seat close to the bathroom. And of course, they're now recalling a lot of this lettuce. And Chlorospora sounds like a new ride at Universal Studios. I remember my husband told me he's been using this word all over the place, okay? And if you went to Taco Bell, like some people commented, and they got a crunch wrap, yeah, you're going to enter a gastrointestinal escape room, guys. If you eat one taco and your stomach starts making the Taco Bell sound bong, run to the door because nobody came in. Something's trying to get out, right? And they don't even know for sure if it was the iceberg lettuce now. They don't even know. So they'll give you 5 pounds of lettuce, a tomato, 2 croutons, and a teaspoon of dressing, and they'll say that's $14.99. I can't believe fast food prices that have risen. Now, we don't eat out very often, and I rarely ever go to fast food, right? But we're talking about lettuce that is now expanded, private labels, lettuce at the convention. I will still buy lettuce. They're not going to stop me from getting, healthy veggies, but I'm not buying anything that says Mexico on it. And we need to secure the lettuce border, right? Because healthcare is a human right. That's what the left says. The right says make salads great again. Meanwhile, the average citizen is standing in Taco Bell saying, I don't care which party wins. What burrito doesn't have lettuce? And they offered this new menu item without lettuce for $1. They're really trying to get their customers back in their store, right? So, I mean, this is one of the only things that I have ever seen. All the news, all the politicians agree that obviously perhaps chlorospora came from lettuce, but there's more to it. There's never a recall on candy, like I said, or there's never a recall on Choco Tacos when they were making those. They stopped making them, and it is just tearing us up. It's bad. All right, so let's move on. I've got quite a few things in my repository today. There was a video that I saw yesterday, and I thought, man, I have got to share this. And lo and behold, there is even someone more outgoing in a council meeting than myself that has brought the topic that we have talked a lot about here on the stream in regards to AI. And I'm going to share this with you real quick. This was at a city council meeting in Casa Grande, Arizona. Now, I don't know if you all have seen this, but just bear with me. I'm going to put it up on the screen. We're going to watch it together. And I think this is a great idea. We should absolutely do this all around the country at every single council meeting.
Check out this city council comment.
Jacob Petrosky, 194 South Amador Trail. Good evening. I hope you guys have been having a great summer. I know I have. I've spent the last several months talking to people all over Casa Grande, and one thing keeps coming up: safety. So today I'm excited to announce a new company called Shepherd Safety. Our mission is simple: keep government officials and their families safe. We're launching satellites to watch over Casa Grande day and night. Our AI will monitor where government officials go, where they stop, who they meet with, and when they return home. We've already started collecting and building profiles on your vehicles, spouses' vehicles, children's vehicles, and other visual characteristics. We'll combine that information with publicly available data, Bluetooth signals, advertising IDs, vehicle information, commercial data sources, so our authorized users can replay the movements of every government official and their immediate family. There's no difference than the current flock safety capture systems. Everything will be stored securely, and only authorized users will have access. Local businesses will be invited to join our network so government officials can continue being protected while shopping, eating, or traveling throughout the city. Some of you might think this sounds invasive, and you may worry about abuse, you may worry about unauthorized access, tracking innocent people. We understand those concerns. After all, those are the exact same concerns of all the citizens.
Would this change your opinion on flock cameras?
I think that was awesome. So that was Casa Grande City Council flock camera debate, and they were calling it Shepherd Safety Satire Go Viral. And, you know, when someone says, let us discuss politics, we're just going to say, no, thank you. I've already had enough crap for one day. Get it? Now, I will say this was classic when I saw this. It was classic because it made me think about all the flock cameras that are having across the country an impact now that people are starting to think about what are flock cameras. And I showed you a website that I asked, show me flock cameras in Moscow, Idaho. Let me bring that up again, and I'm going to show you the only one that says that there are in the Moscow area. And I think it was only one. There's a flock map online that you can go to. Flock map, cameras, here it is. And there are, I think the closest one, you know, they do a lot of things, not just AI power your capturing license plate. They're doing a lot more than that, folks. We've been talking about this for quite some time. I think there was only one, and that was somewhere. Gosh, where did it go? Here it is. Let's see if this loads up. There's only like one outside. I think it was way northern Idaho. In the Boise area, there's, you know, some in more populated areas, of course. It's not going to pull up. Dang it. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's just take a peek at this. Yeah, well, actually, it's in Montana. So it's called DFlock. And you can probably, let me see if this will pull up again. You can go out there and you can do a search too. And I'm just going to ask you guys, drop a 1 if you are against these flock cameras. They are out there sharing it like this is safety. All right? But these things are pretty powerful because they are lining up, in my humble opinion, uh, a host of things that they can do. And I'm talking about it says deflockme dot. Here's the correct website. Yeah, Boise has quite a few, and you can see how invasive they could be. Lewiston has 1. They have a few here. I don't see anything in Moscow or Genesee yet. So I'm sure they're going to push some agenda. There's a flock camera here among the major highways, Lewiston. They're going to push some massive agenda to get these flock cameras to stay. They're going to be pushing some massive bonuses and structural increase in monitoring and giving an incentive for these police departments, for these, Department of Transportation, all these other quote unquote areas of safety, for our safety. Look at all these in Coeur d'Alene. Look at all of these. These are all you can go and click on them and see exactly where they're located. You can get their ID numbers. It tells you longitude and latitude, tell you exact coordination. And they're going to use this all in the name of safety, folks. Safety. Kind of like how I believe they said all the money from the lottery is going to go to the schools. Yeah. A lot of people bought that. You can go all the way down. Look how many they have in Caldwell, Nampa, and Meridian. Oh my gosh. And, Meridian is for many, many years. I lived right on the border of there. Many people are saying that Meridian is the number 1 place to raise kids. Look at all those flock cameras in these areas. Now we're talking about $4-5 million homes out there, right? In some of these areas, we're talking about farmland here. We're talking about people. They took all this farmland and started building house upon house upon house upon house. Many tract homes out there. And this is kind of scary when you see something like this. This is a whole city monitored for the safety, flocked safety, right? Now, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of safety. I mean, what's happening in these areas that they need all that safety? I mean, let me just go over here to Spokane and I can understand some of these areas that are, some suspicious stuff is happening. Let's just see how many they have here. Let's just take a little peek. There's Palouse. Here we go. Let's just take a little look in the name of safety. Yeah, they've got quite a few around this area, all around Spokane Valley. Medical Lake has none. But look at this. I mean, that's not as bad as the town or the city that I just showed you in Meridian, but all the way into Post Falls, Satellite. Yep, look at that. Crazy. Absolutely wild. I mean, they still have quite a few that they could look at over here. They could still say, hey, we need more security. Anytime you ask for, why can't we just go back to the neighborhood watch, folks? Why can't we just have citizens patrol our communities? And forgive me if I get a little spicy and feisty on Freedom Friday, but I'm telling you, Why do we not just go back to neighborhood watch? Why can't we trust our communities to do the job? Why do we have to have cameras up everywhere? Look at this network. Holy my God. What the hell is this? Look at this whole East Coast. Oh my word. I'm not saying that we're bad people because we don't want to be watched, but think about the ramifications here. Whew. I got ice water. I'm just saying. Think about the ramifications. Think about you're in your car. It connects to the DMV. It connects to your bank accounts. It connects to your credit report. Then all of a sudden you're put in a system and you're profiled. Is this person more likely or less likely to commit a crime? Okay? Absolutely. It's not to mention anything with Wi-Fi capabilities, recording. They have the ability, once they figure out who you're linked to in a database with the DMV, your credit score, then they can potentially hook you into the police department. We're looking at enemy of the state. Monitor your credit and then look at your banking information. I'm just saying this is speculation, but could you imagine the world we live in where in minutes, seconds, less than 30 seconds, they could have a profile on you linked to your vehicle? If you are more likely or less likely going to commit a crime. Exactly. And they're not committing crimes out there that we need all these cameras to catch these crimes. And why are we seeing so many cases where they catch the wrong people? Thank you, Caleb. Yeah, there are 2 active serial killers in Ohio, and now they can't even be caught. I told you a story of 2, was it 2 or 3 summers ago? 3 summers ago. One of my friend's cousins went missing, guys, and they found her in Texas within 24 hours. And they knew exactly what highway she turned on, what hotel she stopped and stayed at. She went out of town to a concert, didn't tell anybody. After the concert, she stayed an extra couple of weeks, didn't tell anybody. And she had a breakdown after or in the middle of COVID, I believe. She was a licensed therapist. This happens, folks. If you're ever going to go missing and it's intentional, tell your family, I'm going to be out of town for a few weeks. I just need a break. Tell your loved ones so they don't report you missing and then they spend all these resources. They can find you, folks. Yeah, she's all right, but they could find you. Look at how lit up this is in Atlanta. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is Atlanta, and this is the network that they have put together. Yes, there is some good for safety. Yes, they can record the bus and make sure your kid got on the bus for safety. But I don't know if I'd want to live anywhere, honestly, that has these many in the area. I don't know about that. Flagstaff, they have a few. How many are in my area? Let me just take a peek. I am just curious. So freaking curious. Not a lot, but enough. Not a lot, but enough. Check your area, folks. I'm going to drop this for you in the link right in the chat, and you can see for yourselves. I mean, I'm all for freedom. I'm all for, checking for safety. I'm all for government, small government, not big government. I am so not for that. Now, I'm going to give you a technique on if you're ever in a dangerous situation. This might And it is Freedom Friday. We're talking about anything we want here. If you want to talk about something in the chat, we'll do it. And we're going to take a field trip. We're going to do a live dig. You guys are going to love this one. But this is something that could actually save your life if you're ever in the middle of this situation. Let's watch.
If you're ever stuck in this situation, the Fire Academy teaches you how to get out, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to get out. First step is to get onto your fingertips, okay? Just like this, okay? Once you are on your fingertips, you can use your leverage to help you get.
All right. So if you are ever finding yourself in a situation like this, now remember, there was a meme many years ago that was made, kidnappers don't like chunky girls. Well, obviously that's out. This is in. If you're ever in this situation, make sure you know how to get out of this situation. Speaking of situations, there was something interesting that I came across, and this is in the, agency arena. And Kash Patel is getting side-eyed for pushing out Salt Lake City FBI Chief Medhab Sayed. She was fired 6 months after being promoted to the lead Salt Lake City field office. Yes, she was born in Pakistan. Yes, they made her the field office in charge. And then they allegedly, I think she was fired. And it said basically that she wasn't going to be a good fit for office. Not a good fit for office. And it's amazing how they promote someone. And I think there was a lot of backlash on her promotion. And then I read in another article, that she was absolutely 22 hours ago that she was put back in charge. So I don't know what happened in this situation, but how do you feel when our supposed to be the best agency to protect the American citizens don't do enough research and they hire somebody, fire them, and then allegedly put them back into office? Now, I'm still looking into this because this was like 22 hours ago, and I don't even know who is in charge out there. So I wanted to dig into the Utah, Salt Lake City, and there's a lot of conflicting information out there. So if you find out who is in fact in charge out there, this was a year ago when they hired her on and they put her in charge, and they says, yes, she is where she served as in Pakistan. She was on temporary duty. Now I don't know if she was born in Pakistan. I've read so many different articles about there was so much just confusion and allegations based on her name. And she was the agent in charge of cyber and counterintelligence in the LA field. And then she went over to the Utah office. And if you guys find something concrete, let me know. I'm still digging into this. And this was 2025. She began her career. She was born in Pakistan. This is what this one article says. And she emphasizes her resources across Utah, Idaho, and Montana. She's been there for, I don't know, a long time. 2005, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But I'm really curious, who in the world is running the FBI office in Utah? Because Utah, Idaho, and Montana. Because there seems to be a lot of shenanigans happening on Montana, Idaho, and Utah lately. If y'all haven't noticed, this is a reason I'm getting into this next week. But I was just a little curious why they have so much confusion out there. Is it because of the Idaho 4 case where most of this was handled out of Utah that we can't seem to get any transparency or information from? Yeah, something's going on out there, folks. Not saying that we're going to get to the bottom of it, but something is definitely happening out there. And while something is happening out there, I'm watching this whole Nolan Wells story. If you guys haven't seen my video, I posted this one. And although I can't play the music, he missing July 4th, his friend speaks out. And if you listen to how well his friend speaks about him, it is amazing. In my humble opinion, I don't think this has anything to do with the R card. If you know what the R card is, RACE card. I think this is another diversion to divide, in my humble opinion. And on Freedom Friday, we have the right to speak our minds within reason. We don't want to bash or slander or defame anyone, but I think this kid is the most honest person that they have put up there. His friend speaks out on what happened that day. There was over 4,000 people on that island, guys. There were many boats. If you've never seen this island, go look at videos from the 4th of July. This wasn't some isolated, only these guys went out there and, there was just them there and they were partying in a secluded area. No, folks, it's not what the media has made it out to be. It's not. And obviously, something happened out there. They were really good friends, best friends. And obviously, the autopsy reveals something happened, in my humble opinion. So they have Ram Consulting, and they display the injury on the back of Nolan Wells' head. Okay? And an injury like this, in my humble opinion, I'm no expert, but an injury like this, somebody would have to have pushed someone and somebody hit something that was sharp, like a ledge, a stairs, the end of the boat, something of that nature, and made that injury to where he may have knocked a bone out of place and even possibly bled to death. This is, in fact, should be investigated heavily for a murder, a homicide. And I'm sure there were more people that saw this than are speaking. This is not about race. This was about anger. And this is what I feel. This is what I believe. This is what I allege. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying a lot of people are confused about this injury. And the coroner is basically saying, no, it's unfounded. We're not going to put anything on there. We're not going to put anything on there. But those are his massive injuries. And that was his autopsy, and which is really odd, in my opinion. Not only that, is that some of the guys, they're digging into people's backgrounds heavily. And this one makes a lot of sense to me. I just closed it. I hate when that happens. Let me grab it back up on the screen. This is wild. And we start seeing more and more cases like this. There is history. We should not be so divided, in my humble opinion. We can't be. Let me just make sure this plays. Come on. Yeah, there is an independent autopsy. This is the autopsy that the mother and stepfather has been given. And I would always say, if you suspect one of your loved ones has been murdered in a homicide, always get an independent autopsy if possible.
I want to present you with the father of Nolan Wells' mother. Now that you see that, That is the father of Nolan Wells' mother. But what's interesting about this, guys, is a lot of black people are saying, oh, Nolan Wells' mother, Christine, she's African American, she's half black, because they see that man. But what you don't know is that so-called man is not African American. He's not, guys. See, this is why I'm so confident when I speak, because when you do your research and you put the puzzles together, you start to see things for what they are. That man is either Samoan or Filipino himself. Why? Because his mother is. Not only that, guys, I got more fun facts for you. Nolan Wells' mother, Christine's father's mother, right? The mother of the father of Christine Wansley. Her so-called father, we're talking about the mother. Watch this, guys. The mother of Christine's father is white. That's a fact. He's white. Changes everything, right? This is why you black folk got to stop calling people African American, because you don't know what someone's bloodline really look like. You have a lot of ethnic groups of people that got different mixtures of different groups here and there and there and there, and people just call themselves black. We got to stop doing that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you something that you're not. You're not going to be able to benefit off the plight of African Americans when you're not an African American. Just be comfortable with who you are, you know, but don't lie to people. So what exactly is the truth? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Nolan Wells' mother's father is not African American as you guys have thought. Look at the screen. Do you see that image on the screen, guys? That's not an African American, guys. That's a man who have Asian in him. That is a man who is not an African American. That is a man who is either Filipino, and I'm more leaning towards Samoan. That's right. You look at those features, those are the features of a Samoan, not a so-called African American. And see, this is why the black community always get played, because they keep calling people African American when they're not. All it takes is for someone to show you some brown skin and you automatically invite them to the cookout because you want Nolan Wells to be black so bad. Now, this is where things get really, really confusing, because the father of Christine Wansley, his name, if I can put it up on the screen, I think it's Christopher or something, Wells or something, what is it, Senior? It really don't make sense, guys, because if he's the father, if he's the father of Nolan Wells' mother, did he have a child with his own daughter? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because his last name is Wells Senior. And normally, if you are Wells Senior, they got to be a junior. So I'm trying to figure this out. Did this man have sex with his own daughter? Because we know Mr. Wonsley, he's not the father. He's the stepdad. So why is it that Nolan has the last name of his mother's father and not his biological father? Make that make sense, guys. I want to present you with
so let me see if I can
the father.
this. Interesting things that we're being told in the mainstream media that's not lining up. And we have people out there that will be better than mothers in investigating, grandmothers investigating, better than the FBI. I'm telling you, the social media ain't gonna let nobody down. A favor, as always, do your own research. I am not saying he's absolutely 100% correct, but I went down the rabbit hole and came back up thinking the same thing. And like I said, the media is not always going to tell you the truth. Social media might, but not the media. And you know who those folks are. We don't dislike them. We just want them to start telling the truth, right? Drop a fireball if you want the media that write these to start telling the truth. I saw something very interesting that on the screen, and I'm just gonna let's go for a little ride. Let's take a little ride down memory lane. If you remember, Corporal Brett Payne was the promoted lead detective for the Moscow Police Department with the case against Brian Kohberger. All right. And remember, Brett Payne was not the first initial lead detective on this case. And if you didn't know, it was actually, you guessed it, Captain Tyson Barrett. Who Gunderson gets on the phone and does a whole walkthrough and shows him on his iPhone video FaceTiming the whole entire scene. And then within 24 hours is when Brett Payne was then appointed as the acting peace officer within the county and took over that lead investigative role. And, there's some really interesting Substacks on him. There's some interesting videos. There's some interesting things going on behind the scenes with Brett Payne. And I don't know where he went. I didn't find any employment for him. I do know that he was in receipt of a property that was very, very inexpensive, if even alleged, given it was a house and some property that he was deeded to. And that was a big question early on. Now, I will say this, him and his brother were in the Army together. Well, Brett Payne received a scholarship from the Army to earn his master's and his commission as an officer at the University of Idaho. That we do know. And there's only a few other qualified leads out there that I have looked everywhere to find. He was the cop of the year, I believed. I haven't seen anything of where he is possibly located today. I haven't seen anything. And I'm sure for good reason. I'm sure. Just like, where is our wonderful friend, Officer Rosendahl? Rosie. Were they brought in for these special assignments? Was Rosie brought in from the Washington area to come into the Moscow area on special assignment? Those are great questions. Great questions. Let's see. They're all running away or retired. They're ghosts. That was a plot twist I didn't see coming. Absolutely. There are 2 vacant lists on Washington State University. And that was the last rumor. Let me see if he's in Washington. Did he relocate? Let's see. I don't see him anywhere. Brett Payne. Let me just take a look at this. Long Beach, California. Don't know if that's him. Washington. Brett Payne. Missouri? I don't think that's him. Let me just take a peek and see what this says. Nope, that's not him either. Nope. Don't see him anywhere on the Washington side. Brett Payne. That's not him. No, there was one found in obituaries, but that is not him. And I'm sure that there's quite a few people with that name. But I don't see anything in regards to nothing. Not even in any capacity in law enforcement. Let me look on one more database. Hold on. Let's just see. Nope, don't see anything. And obviously, if he's working for someone, they do have to, they don't have to, but it is public information. Field officers, no, nothing there. Nope. Vanished. A ghost. Just like Rosendahl. Yep. Amazing. Is he fish food? No pain, no gain. Maybe he's recruiting now. I thought there was some money in recruiting. Maybe. Dawn Daniels is chief. Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that crazy? How did she earn that position? I saw that come across a little while ago. She's the one that went out and looked at his storage unit. They figured that there was a connection there, and then they went and got the warrant to go and search Koberger's storage unit at the Stito Apartments. And you know what? If I hear one more G-damn person out there say that Brian Koberger is fucking guilty, I am going to lay down and let him have it. Are you guys at that point yet? I have seen way too many bots lately, way too many outspoken people that have doubled down, yet alone tripled down, and said this guy is guilty. So much misinformation out there. Who is going to step freaking forward and say, no, physically, there's no evidence? Show us the financial side. That's what I'm asking people to do now. Okay, there's no physical side. Maybe there's somewhere on paper. Show us the connection. If you're all so high and mighty in all these authoritative positions and you know exactly what he did and the public doesn't know, show us your freaking cards. Put them on the table. At with this case. That's where I'm at. I've had enough of this dog and pony show. And why can they not just tell us? Do we have to wait 10 years? Do we have to wait 5 years, 2 years, 50 years? How did they get him to be guilty? How did they get him to plead guilty? What did they have on him? They knew they didn't have any physical evidence, guys. They knew that. They knew that months before they were going to have to go into court before battle. They knew that. They found nothing. Yeah, they said they found nothing. They didn't say they found anything on the financial side either. So is that a big bogus nothing burger there too? Is there nothing on the financial side? Why did BK have a storage unit? His apartment was empty. The guy had next to nothing. Yeah, his storage unit was empty too. But I think when you rent, you get a storage unit. And if he had maybe stuff coming in or shipping out, or who knows, it was empty too. And even the warrant that they went to those two different individual storage units, they never said anything about him other than his name was not on any of those storage units. So I think, yeah, he left his computer. He left his CPU. He left the computer. There was nothing on it. He probably maybe never used it. Now, I guarantee you SUV1, SVU1, or SV1, suspect vehicle 1, was in fact Tisdall's car that he was driving that night, because it states that in his report. And when Molly said, no, I believe the car was tan, or they had to pull her aside, the FBI agent gave her a cognitive test, and then they said, that's all we need. They verified that day with Molly McMichaels that that was, in fact, the undercover cop car, folks. It's in the report. Tisdall even admits that was his car. So, the only thing that I can think of in this case, in my humble opinion, we have to go back to the beginning and we have to ask ourselves this one question, or put your mind in this frame of mindset. And that is, question the unthinkable. And when you start questioning the unthinkable, that's when pieces to the puzzle start to fall in place. Now, we know for a fact, investigators on this timeline, I have laid it out very clearly, they pulled all the victims' records. We know for a fact in statements, are they true statements? I don't know. But we know for a fact a few things. We know that the Delts at the U of I were potentially, allegedly dealing drugs. We know that now. And we also know that in the Delts, all right, Kaylee started dating Mason Barstow. Then it was said she was dating Ethan Runge, all Delts. And remember Mason Barstow's statement on Connor's channel he put out. I think it was, did he put out Mason Barstow? Who was it that put out Mason Barstow? Someone did. And in that interview with Mason Barstow, he did not want to give up his phone. He did not. Let me see if I can find Mason Barstow interview. Yes, here it is. Here is his interview. And hold on a second. Who put that original one up? Everybody's got videos now. Who in the heck did that original? Was it Bronx? Hold on. Yeah, I caught something on this audio the other day when listening, after I listened to, okay, the Delts. Oh, yeah, Outcast. Okay, got it. Remember, the Delts were allegedly doing the dealing. People owed them money, right? Nobody, I mean, all right. I think he had something on the phone that he didn't want these cops to see, obviously. He was like, no, I'm just not going to give this up. Not going to give this up. Now, if you noticed, I'm going to share this screen with you real quick. If you notice, there is, I think, let me just see. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. And I'm going to break this whole scene down to you. Okay? Mason Barstow is on the left of the screen. See the desk? He's on the left of the screen. His jacket is overdraped on the chair, and he is leaning forward, kind of talking to these two guys, right? These two cops. And there is a door behind him that he has entered. Okay? And the other two investigators behind the desk is another way to the offices in back. There are two exits. No one is blocking the exit. He has not been put in a position where he cannot leave. The door is right behind him. Okay? And these two cops are not interrogating him like hardcore, except for what made me question in the document on the financial investigation that I've been looking into, is that Mason Barstow says that he may have some things on his phone that are a little sketch, right? That they may start digging into his pictures and other things of that nature. Okay. And it's kind of to the point that I think that maybe he is one of the major players in regards to the dealing. And this is my humble alleged opinion. And the reason I say this is because he is the only one. I'm sure there are more interviews with him that the FBI may have that we'll never get to see. Just like, where is Connor Chestnut's? Where is Jack Showalter's? Where is Hunter Johnson second interviews, right? I mean, guys, think about this for 1 second. Hunter Johnson, I've never seen anything about his DNA given. I've never seen a second interview on him. But yet, let alone, they thought they needed his fingerprints 3 freaking times. 3 times throughout 23, 24, and 25. 3 freaking times. Even his mommy had to take him in there to get his fingerprints rolled. Where is his second and third interviews? How come we don't see those? How come we don't hear about those? Why are they not pointing to the evidence? We hear Dylan's. We hear all of Dylan's, bizarre as they are, in my opinion. We hear all of them. Where's Emily Allott's second interview? They had to get her prints rolled again. What about Bethany Funk? What other interviews do they have with her? Did they have them talk to the police or the FBI more times? I know that they dug into Ethan, Madison, Kaylee, and Xana's financial records. Financial. And if you put this together and you look at the financial institutions, did they all bank in Washington and Idaho? And on a side note, they still didn't collect the trash from their own backyard. Nope. They went to 3 dumpsters. We still don't know what the Moscow Police Department did with the trash in the backyard, because after 3 or 4 days, it was still sitting there. They never took their trash into evidence. We don't see anything of that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe because they really weren't going to investigate. I mean, just think about this. Think about all this. So Mason says in his interview, I've got some pictures on there or something. I mean, is it incriminating? I mean, let's listen just for a little bit. Let me see if I can put it back up on the screen for you. Here we go.
And I think they might have to get that stuff from Snapchat. But if there's something on your phone, you know.
As far as just like messages go.
Yeah, or like phone calls.
Okay, so like mainly like.
Basically, you're looking at the call logs, contacts,
Yeah.
But nothing as far as camera roll and that stuff goes.
camera roll.
I don't know, like photos.
You're talking about what you do.
Yeah, Greek guy, right? As a Greek guy, I'm
Like your personal life.
We're not worried about the person.
Yeah, that's not something that anybody's worried about. We're looking at this from like the victim standpoint and communications with you, where you know you had to
You play that relationship, and it helps corroborate that relationship, what you're telling us. So we can say, he knew everybody really well.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing. I guess we're not prying into your personal life. Trust me, we've seen plenty of pictures that I don't need to look at any more pictures of anything, right?
Yeah.
In our own personal life.
Yeah.
We do, I mean, we work all kinds of wacky cases. Okay.
Yeah.
There's stuff we don't want to see. So
yeah,
what predominantly looking for is those call logs, any chance there's text messages or anything. And in a case like this, you're just looking for that little thing that say, oh, you might not remember, it was a party night or whatever, but oh yeah, on this date at this time, Xana said, hey, this guy said something to me, and that's something we can move on to.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily remember, you might not necessarily think it's important, but something like this, every little thing.
Yeah. Well, don't you guys already have access on their end, like to their messages and stuff? Like they'll leave you with a phone number, like that's me, and that's like how to know like those messages are to me and stuff.
Yeah, they have their phones. I can't tell you what.
So there's a little bit of that, right? So, I mean, go back and listen to this interview once again. And shout out, Sarah, you are the GOAT.
You are the greatest of all time.
So Payne, it looks like, is employed by the University of Idaho. And he is in no other. You guys are going to blow your ever-loving lid. Yes, he is an executive product manager of the medical education program. The same program that I'm going to show you. You aren't going to believe this one. Remember when I told you all about Showalter and what their family were advocating for and what they were donating for and what they didn't want to leave the University of Idaho? Meet Idaho WAMI medical student Benjamin and Samuel Showalter. Their whole entire family supports this institution. They donate. They give their time. They even expressed their concerns in a freaking political debate. And mind you, they donate quite a few green lettuce to the campus. I'm literally not shocked, but just blew my mind when you just found that. So there is a whole history behind this, folks. An entire history. Wow. And President Scott Green even wrote a huge memo about the partnership with Idaho WAMI Partnership for Medical Education. Yeah. I mean, it's all in black and white. And you can go down and let me just see. Let me see if they're on here. All of them. All the doctors are on there. Ben Showalter, Sam Showalter, Larry, Kelly, Dana, and Malcolm. All of them are there. All of them are there that supported the initiation for them to stay at the U of I. It says, these are all the signatures we collected that oppose HB 176. And what was HB 176? They were very outspoken over this. Idaho physicians expressed concerns over House Bill 176 impacting medical education. Let's watch it. See if it'll load. This was in February 1, 2025. Ben Showalter.
More than 1,600 Idahoans have signed this open letter urging lawmakers to vote no on House Bill 176, which aims to cut funding for the WWAMI medical education program. I'm downtown Boise neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, and as concerns mount over the potential impact on the state's physician workforce, advocates are preparing to rally at the Capitol tomorrow, right here on the fourth floor rotunda. Ben Showalter always knew he wanted to be a doctor.
I grew up in a family of doctors. My parents are both physicians. By high school, I pretty much knew I was going the doctor route.
But growing up in Idaho, his options for medical school near home were slim.
Idaho WWAMI was the only school I applied to. I didn't want to go anywhere else.
But the Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho Medical School program, also known as WWAMI, gave him the option to study close to home. Idaho has relied on the WWAMI program for more than 50 years to train future doctors. A partnership with the University of Washington, WWAMI allows Idaho students to attend medical school with state funding. Critical in a state without its own medical school. But a new bill, House Bill 176, would end that agreement and shift funding elsewhere.
House Bill 176 would essentially break up the partnership between the University of Washington and the state of Idaho. If you don't have medical students going through on a consistent basis and then a place for them to do residency, we're not going to get doctors created in this state.
Supporters of the bill argue Idaho needs more flexibility in where it sends medical students. Lawmakers say WWAMI hasn't been able to expand seats for Idaho students and refused to sign a contract amendment restricting state funds for abortion. Supporters stating in the bill, Idaho requires more medical doctors, and when the legislature recently passed a resolution to expand seats in WWAMI for Idaho students, the University of Washington was unable to meet this need. Under the bill, Idaho would phase out WWAMI, replacing it with at least 2 new programs in Idaho or nearby mountain states by 2027. But medical professionals worry there's no clear replacement.
My parents never told me to quit a job unless I had something better lined up.
I have so much fear with what's to come with this being proposed.
And Idaho ranks near the bottom in doctors per capita. That's why critics say cutting WWAMI without a fully developed alternative could make the shortage worse.
If this breakup occurs between Idaho and the University of Washington, we won't have a net increase in the amount of doctors in the state. If anything, it might actually decrease it because some people will stop teaching.
House Bill 176 is scheduled for a reading and a vote in the House tomorrow. And that protest is scheduled for noon. I'm your downtown Boise neighborhood reporter, Riley Shoemaker for Idaho News 6.
Well, there you go, folks. There you go. I'm telling you, it is wild. It is absolutely wild. Small town. And you know what I'm interested in? How could Brett Payne be put in a position of an executive project manager in the medical services with a background of a police law enforcement background? Does that make sense? Or was this position, in my humble opinion, given to him? Whoa, you guys decide for yourself. Do a little bit of homework. I mean, typically, you have to have some understanding of medical programs. But this one? How in the world did he get that type of funding or that type of job? Right? Wow. That just blows my mind. That blows my mind to see who else is in that same area. Let's just see if it's listed under the WWAMI. WWAMI Medical Education Program. And let's just see. We've got all these doctors, all these clinical faculty. Is he on a special assignment, special program? Program managers. Laura Jackson, educational manager. We've got, I wonder how they feel about how he got the executive job. Department heads or doctors. And then you have executive project manager just in the middle of all these people. Department heads. Do we see any familiar names on here? This is very interesting. Very interesting. I wonder who can answer that question. All right. So, yeah. So they wanted to be able to see the photos of what their brother did. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Wow. This is freaking wild. I bet you he's on special assignment. They just gave him a title of, what was it? Executive program manager. Where is he at? Oh yeah. Executive project manager. Let me ask, what does a WWAMI executive project manager do? Let's just see what they do. A WWAMI executive project manager is responsibility of an executive project manager with the mission and structure of Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, Idaho. They oversee the planning, execution, and completion of high-level complex projects, ensuring they align with organizational strategic goals and deliver expected outcomes. They look at budget, personnel time, and manage, obviously, maximize efficiency and project success, stakeholder coordination between medical boards, hospital clinics, and community organization, risk and compliance management, contract negotiation with vendors, suppliers, and partner universities for research and services, performance monitoring, leadership, on project budgets, adherence and outcomes, mentor and team development. They strengthen project delivery capabilities and process improvement to enhance medical education delivery and rural physician recruitment. Interesting. Wow, that sure looks like Brett Payne fills that job perfectly, in my humble alleged opinion. Of course, that was full satire, folks. Come on. A high-level project leader, medical education strategist. Oh my gosh. Let me just see. Okay, what do they do? Let's just see what the pay is. Let's see what it says. The average salary is $112,000 a year. $112,000 a year as of July 2026. Typical range is about $98,000 to $130,000. Entry level around $85,000. High paying industries, obviously, like medical. What does a medical executive project manager pay? $117,000, earning between $103,000 and $127,000 a year. Wow. Healthcare is about $115,000, more up into 22% is often $130,000 plus. Large healthcare systems, which obviously the U of I budget is fairly large because their goal to raise $500 million in the last 5 years. Yeah, Brett Payne will be the next governor of Idaho. Please do not say that. He'll be the next. All for entertainment, folks. I told you I was going to be a little feisty and spicy on this Freedom Friday because we could talk about anything here within reason. So, executive level pay adjustments up into 160 to 180 and a bonus of about 20,000. So, the average medical executive project manager up to 150, total compensation up to 180 a year. Thank you, Sarah, for that. Wow, it is getting spicy up in here. All right, let's watch a video real quick that I really want to show you. This is how police officers, speaking of police officers, should respond to someone with autism, in my humble opinion.
Fabiana, look, what else do you have? Is this your Fabiana? Is this your backpack? Yeah? Yes. Come. Okay, I can check this bag. I can help you. Let's help me open. Look, let's go down slowly and you can help me open. Lady, I have played Little Horse. I just might. Of course, come here. Look, if you first come down, I can play it for you. Yeah, you guys. Look, I can show you. You guys are close. On YouTube? Okay, let me see. Look, look the guy. The original one, can you show me? Come here so you can show me. Good. Good job. Thank you. Good. Thank you so much. Yes, show me which one you want. Ooh, I go purple, okay? Watch your step. Can I help you? There we go. Okay. Your hat. I just smiled. Oh, okay. Well, come over here. Look. Can I help you? Look, over here. Oh, you like it? Look. Look. Wait, look. I'm gonna pause it. You first have to come down, okay? Okay, good. Ready? There you go. Good job. Okay, good job. Okay, let's sit down. Where do you want to sit? Let's get your seat, okay?
And remember, children with autism grow up to be adults with autism. Now, I don't know where her provider was, but did you take note at how professional this female officer was? She is very well trained for situations like this. And the guy, the cop standing in the background, even did this like little wave.
Good job. Okay, let's sit down. Where do you want to sit? Let's get your seat, okay?
To make her feel comfortable. And that's not something that you see normally in these situations. I just have to applaud the LAPD. Totally, 100%, or whoever is manning the airport out there. I think they're a part of them. But the way they handle this is how most officers, I believe, should be trained. They were calm. They were amazing. She must have been overstimulated, and it looked like a really dark place for her to go and hide and just calm down for a little bit. And thank goodness that they were there, they served, and no one was shot or injured or died. This is how most officers should be trained. But yet you've got Washington doing video on dysfunction, right? Or dysregulations. And it's just blowing my mind. How do we send this to Brian Koberger? Imagine the school for your master's in CJ and this guy named Payne got a job that pays for much your. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure his attorney knows. We don't have any communication with Brian Koberger. In order to get any communication with him, you have to go through his attorney. You have to. Guys, I tried in the beginning. You can't even get a letter. You can't even get an electronic message sent. All they'll let you do, and no joke, they let people donate money to his commissary. I'm just telling you, that's the truth. And the project is IGG. Now, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the Idaho 4. I know that's you guys have been waiting, and Freedom Friday is an opportunity to take a look at all things other and including, obviously, the Idaho 4. Now, I have to mute this music, but we're going to do a dig. And I bet you guys are excited about this one. So I'm going to put my video up on the screen real quick. And we are going to take a look at this. I put a really short clip video together. This is inside 1122. I believe per a family member that told me some information. This is Maddie's birthday party with a few friends over. And this is the stairway up to the second floor. And this is the kitchen doorway and the front room second, the big gathering area, which I call a front room. And this guy walks by, have no idea who that is. We can't see his face. He is of color. Don't know any, but this guy right here, this guy, this older gentleman. Now, I know that I have been given some information on who he possibly could be. And I said, okay, that makes sense. All right. Yes, he's much older. Yes, he is much older. The comments just blew me away in this video. Okay. So let's go down this rabbit hole. Now, in the beginning of this, this case, I almost said story, there was a roommate that was named that she was supposed to be on the roommate list. Okay. And is that one of the sorority's dad? I believe, yes, the information I've been given is that it might be Ashlyn Couch's stepdad. So, of course, I went down this rabbit hole and I had to see for myself. Let me just take a peek at this real quick. And I've already showed you who her brother is and the history behind him. So this is a party for Maddie's birthday party. And how did I find him? Okay, so right here. So if you remember, Ashlyn Couch's mother went on the Today Show. This gets wild, folks. And her name is Angela. Her daughter is Ashlyn Couch. Obviously, she remarried. And we'll just go ahead and this was on the episode 9 of Dateline. Okay. And if you type her name, she's all over social media, guys. Remember what I told you about social media? So she's got a Facebook page. Obviously, we'll go to the Facebook page. And this is, I think we talked about her before in the past too. And the first picture that I saw was this picture. And so I put the picture side by side and pretty much I believe it's the same guy, right? He's got the close short hair and the tattoo is what gave it away. So I played this video over and over again until I could actually see his tattoo, which you can only get a really quick glimpse of it. And I matched his tattoo to this guy's tattoo. And that's how I figured out who he really was. Tattoo, short, head shape, nose, mouth, 100%. Now, here's the quirky thing is Ashlyn Couch said she moved out in March. Okay, I believe they said March. This party was in May, but the semester didn't end until May. And Caleb, you're 5 steps ahead of me. 5 steps, honey. So I went over to Instagram, and of course, I got his name from his wife's Facebook. His name is Alfredo, or whether known as Freddie. Freddie. All right. And the only thing that popped up, well, there were 2 people that popped up. He's got his on Instagram that is linked to a video of his wife. So we know that that is him. Okay. And let me just see. I didn't think I checked. I didn't even think if he was checking, following anybody. Ethan. No, I don't think so. Dylan. No. I don't think he's following anybody from 1122. No, I don't think so. I'd have to go back and take more time. And let's just see. Okay, so that's his, all right? So obviously this one will go to hers. And then they have tons of pictures. And that's kind of how I figured out that that was the husband that is running around inside the 1122 house. So that is another adult that knew the layout of 1122 and the other guy that you see walking. How many other adults knew the layout of 1122 King Road? How many adults? We can only speculate, right? We can only speculate how many adults knew the layout of the house besides the rental people, besides the maintenance guys, besides the painters or anybody who did maintenance. But these men, right? I mean, how many other men adults knew the inside of this house? That's kind of a scary thing to know. A house full of beautiful, young, young adults, I should say, not teenagers. I think of young adults, teenagers until they're 26 because their brains aren't fully formed. They're not really using a lot of critical skills. They're still learning. And you can see how many people, I mean, I know that she might have been following Kaylee and Maddie and maybe even Xana. And how do I know? Maybe? I don't know, but let's see. Let's just see if she knew any of them. Xana? Nope. Ethan? No. Maddie? Yeah, she's following Maddie and Maddie Mayday. That was way before because you have to accept, right? You have to accept. And let's see, Kaylee. No. Only Maddie. So she has a strong connection to Maddie. Okay. Yeah. Party Central. Young and old, right? And yes, she did say just that interview. She did say they didn't feel ever safe in that house. And the cop never followed up. You've got a great point. Really good point. Me, that's freaking scary. And she hosts all these events. Xana Palooza. She has all these fundraisers. Think Pink, Make It Pink Gala. She promotes all this. And you know what? So does Ashlyn. So does Ashlyn. How do I know that? Because Ashlyn on LinkedIn says it right in her LinkedIn page. She talks all about passionate, motivated, executive founder, co-founder, and executive director for Made with Kindness Foundation. And that is Maddie. That is linked to Maddie. Make It Pink Gala. She does all these building relationships and marketing research. She was a sorority at Pi Beta Pi. That's Pi Beta Phi. Phi Beta. Say that 30 times. Say that one 30 times. And she's got a social marketing cert. She's got Hootsuite. She's got all kinds of operations, coffee stand manager. I was like, why did she go to Eagle? Maybe it was during the summer. She stayed in Eagle during the summer. That's kind of down in the Boise area. And she is a health and wellness enthusiast, client service associate. And I kept saying, why in the world would they be so financially linked to this case? Why would they be having galas and other things like that? Why would they throw them right in the midst of all this? Why would they throw themselves into this? Does he have let me just take a look. His name is Freddie, but it's Alfredo. Let me just look. Let me see. I don't think so, but I know that Couch, he's in Washington. They live in Washington, by the way. Alfredo. He goes by Freddie, but he's Alfredo. They got to pay everyone off. Liberty Lake. What does he look about? 50? 50. Oh, here he is. Hold on. Sounds like buying and selling. Well, he does real estate. They buy and sell. Right? All right. They buy and sell. Let me see. Washington. Let me see if I've got anything for them. We already talked about the brother. And let me see. Do I see anything on good old Freddie? Remember, this is all public information. We're not looking at anything we shouldn't be. And we're not sharing anything we shouldn't be. Remember that. All right. Let me see. I don't see any recent. Let me just take a look at this one. Ooh, my gosh. Let me look up this case number. This one doesn't look good. I'll look up this case number in a minute. Let me look in Washington courts. Yeah. Oh, wow. Let me look in Idaho, folks. Did they used to live in Idaho? Ooh, here we go. I found something on him. Let's see, Alfredo, where you at? The bags. Let's see. How do you spell his last name again? Angela. Freddie. They didn't go by Freddie. They went by his first name. All right. See what you got. Alfredo kind of sounds good. Let me see. Wonder if he ever went by an alias or another name. Let's see. Nope. Nope, I don't see anything under Arthur. Let me check Freddie. Try Freddie. Nope, nothing under Freddie. But it does show up on a website. Let me try Washington Odyssey. This is weird, though. I saw, hold on, let me look at the Instagram one more time. I saw something that kind of made me think, why would she post something like that? What was it? Hold on. I saw a video. Where did I see it? Something like showing a property with pigs. I saw a video that was very interesting. Hold on a minute. And I thought, I wonder if there's a connection here. So they're raising money for these galas, and Maddie and Xana's all over the pictures. I just thought it was really odd. Why would they be out fundraising and doing galas? These are all public. Where did I see it at? They must fly in and out. Safety net. That's the airport. Where was that airport? Windermere Services. Safety net. What is this? Fostering flight. Northwest. Wonder what that is. You little sleuthers start to time to dig in the nest. Let's see. They're golfers. They live on a lake. There's a lot of fundraising, selling of products. I'm just curious where that is. Another gala for Make It Pink. Maddie, Made with Kindness. Coeur d'Alene, accepting money. What is that? Happy birthday. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Another kindness. We went through that one already. Make It Pink. Another gala. I think it was like posted a year ago. Yeah, that's the same dude. What is this? Made with Kindness. Civilian response to active shooter events. Led by Andrew Mohawk and Deputy Goodman. Thank you, Miguel and the team. Huh, interesting. Civilian response course. Active attack event, stress response, and ADHD run, hide, fight. ADD, sorry. That's interesting. Another check. A huge thank you for donating 5% of breakfast proceeds to the Made with Kindness Foundation. Huh. Oh. All right, there's her mom and Ashlyn. Happy birthday to the 24. Active shooter response. You know what? Her husband, in my opinion, humbly, of course, respectfully, looks like a cop to me. He looks like he would be a cop, in my opinion. Let me see. You guys have just been chatting it up. Let me look. Sweet meat, Sarah, bullying, 20. We all got to pay everyone off. My thought, lots of windfalls. You got to keep the money train going. Real estate companies that contain word blue. Don't forget about yep. We would love to know if he knows the owner. I thought that for a long time. Older college professionals, Korea, Thailand. He looks like he's ex-military and maybe even a cop. Doesn't he? I'm just saying, that's my humble opinion. Maybe we can see something on here that'll verify it. Liberty Lake is such a beautiful place to live. This is all public. Okay, this is all public, guys. I hope your birthday is great. There's Ashlyn, Maddie, and Xana. James Quinn. Oh, that's the singer. Okay, hold on. She pushes a lot of, I bet you her husband is a cop. They push a lot of this blue, backing the blue. Oh, let's see if we can find something. There's Maddie, Kaylee. There's Maddie and Kaylee. There's Maddie Mayday. Real estate. A little bit of mixed in everything. He looks like a cop to me. Military ex. Let's see if she gives any hints. Sports. Picture with Maddie and... Is that... Wait a minute. Is that Ashlyn? How do I go back? Yeah, that's Ashlyn and Maddie. That's Kaylee, Ashlyn, and Maddie. Maddie and Ashlyn. There's Xana and Ashlyn. Maddie and Kaylee. Ashley and Maddie. Ashlyn and Maddie. Ashlyn and Maddie. Again. 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 Ashlyn and Maddie. Both in the picture. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What the heck? Did you guys just see that? Did you guys see what I saw? Hold on. Let me go back one. It was the starting of these pictures flipping. I didn't know that Maddie had a picture of the angel wings on her, or are they fake tattoos? Hold on. Let me go back to the picture. Let me see if it'll let me. I didn't know she had a tattoo. Maybe they were fake tattoos. He looks Izzy to you? I don't know. I thought I just saw Maddie had the little angel tattoo on her. The one that allegedly Kaylee and, Dylan, yeah, she's got that tattoo on her. Are they, like fake tattoos maybe? See, Maddie's got that tattoo on her arm and Ashlyn has that. See the tattoos, guys? I don't know if they're real or fake, but it looks like they have the tattoos. Let me see if I can. Relatives to in Mexico and Chile. Yeah, they've got these, I don't know if Maddie, maybe they were fake. See them? See the tattoos? You can see them a little bit better on Maddie's. Maybe they were fake. Henna tattoos? Oh, yeah, that could be too. I just thought that odd because that's the whole tattoo thing. Now there's Ashlyn's tattoo. Ashlyn must have a tattoo like that, permanent. That is, I don't know whose tattoo that is. All right, and that's the beginning. He looks like he might be a cop, even ex-military. What is that? Happy National Daughter Day. To the love of my life, where do I begin? The day you stepped in my life, it changed. You have my support through the hard times. I love you. Yada, yada, yada. Happy anniversary. Doesn't say anything. Maybe he's native from Hawaii. Maybe. Maybe Hawaii. Why was she crying? Let's see. You'd think it would give us some little hint about who he is. Fostering Hope Breakfast Fundraiser. She's a San Francisco. Are they from California? Maybe they moved from California to Idaho and then Washington. Happy anniversary to the man who rocks my world. Beach day with my buddies. All right. Well, I can't find anything. She posts a lot. This was May 6th of 2022. May 6th of 2022. So that must have been at Maddie's party. That must have been Maddie's party. So the parents were there, is what I can kind of gather. I didn't see any videos of the mom walking through the house. I just saw there she is. Okay, so this was August of 2021. So that's somebody else's birthday in August. So mom knows the layout of the house too. So there are parents that know the layout of this house. Trying to see if there's any clues. It looks like he just joined her a year ago into real estate. And she's, that's her stepdad. So this must be the firstborn son, Grayson. That must be her firstborn. Let's see. I wish there was some. Let me see if I can find Cabo. Oh, interesting. Alfredo. Let me see if I can find anything. He looks like a cop to me. Or a military guy. And his name obviously is Native. Let's see if I can find anything else. I'm not finding anything on hers much. And he doesn't have social media. So let's see. Alfredo. Let's see. Let's see if he was in the military. Let me check this out. He's got Facebook and he doesn't have anything posted. Sarah, did you find anything on him? Looks like he's missing hair in the front. He has the LAPD look. Yeah, but then that would mean, let me look him up in California. Paramount. Wonder how old he is. He's got to be in his 50s. Let me just see. Kind of looks like a cop. And according to Washington, they had a judgment liability of about $15,000. This is in 2026. Let me just see if they were Alfredo. Let me see if this is him. There's a lawsuit. I don't know what his... it doesn't know what his middle initial is. Dang it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find anything on it. There's 2 records, but it's not telling me. Oh, he's a junior. He's a junior, folks. That's going to help. Junior. Paramount, California. 59. There he is. Wow. Yeah, he's a senior. No, he's a junior. I don't know who the senior is. Ooh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I got to go down the deep rabbit hole here. When you owe that much money, how do you pay it off? Side gigs. Huh. Well, we know that Ashlyn Couch's brother had some run-ins with the law. Did he ever live at 1122 or did he hang out at 1122? There has to be a financial bridge here. There has to be something. Maddie knew Ashlyn. Ashlyn's stepdad was at Maddie's birthday party. I didn't see any pictures of mom there. We know who she is because she did a interview nationally. Downey, Paramount. Let me see what is previous. Hold on one second. This is him. She just said they live on Liberty Lake. So that is definitely him. Washington. Let me see. Washington. Nothing in Idaho, though. This gets very interesting. I'm going to have to dig a little deeper. We're not going to find many answers right now. So that is Ashlyn's stepdad. Remember, Ashlyn was on the lease, and they said that Kaylee took over. So she could have been there in May, and then Kaylee moved in July. I think it was said that Senior would be his daddy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think he served with pain? I don't know. I'm going to do some deep digging, especially on the military sites. I'm on a couple of them, so I'm going to go really deep down the rabbit hole on this one because this is really, he's a junior. I mean, that opens up a whole, maybe a Navy SEAL. No, I don't think he looks like a Navy SEAL. Yeah. Well, maybe the Marines. I mean, look at the haircut, right? That looks more like a Marine haircut in my book, or a cop haircut. I'm curious now. I'm curious because we know that Ashlyn's brother was in trouble with the law. We know that for sure. We went down that rabbit hole. It's on another live. And we also know for sure that Maddie was in the house with Ashlyn the year before. Could be a connection. Could be. I don't know. We'll keep digging down this Freedom Friday. I'm going to keep digging. And, we got to find a financial bridge. Why would this old man be at Maddie's party? It was Maddie's party. Maybe Ashlyn was still there and they invited parents. So we know that some adults clearly have been in that house. They would know the layout. They would absolutely know the layout. And doesn't she have a sister, Daisy Couch? Or cousin or something? And we looked at, who is Grayson Bailey? Grayson J. Bailey. Who is Grayson J. Bailey? Who is that? Washington. If this guy connects back to, holy shit. Age 30. Torrance, California. All right, so there is some relation to Bailey. And Deborah, Jeff, Karen, Kenneth, Ronald, Tiffany, Todd, Tori, Bailey. I don't know who any of those Baileys are, but we spilt some tea tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate your time that you've spent here with me. My mods are absolutely awesome. I'm telling you, it's the babysitter code for the ill repute. There is a reason 1122 let freshmen live there and why they had paid all their boots in the windows as it was a webcam house. Very interesting. Very interesting. He could be Army. Senior would be his daddy. Pull up that crew, says Sarah. Do I think he served with pain? No, I don't know. We'll look into it. We'll keep digging. We are going to figure this out. There had to be some financial connection. Ashlyn was on the lease. There's a reason that they brought her name out. Totally a reason. And I am wondering what the reason was. There a financial connection? Was there some? Let me look up this in Idaho real quick before we go, because could you imagine if this is the link? Let me look in Idaho. Grayson Bailey. Let me just check this out. Very curious at this point. Hats. I don't even know if he ever lived in Idaho. It says, maybe I can look in Washington. Grayson Bailey. Let me just look. Bailey, 1998. Here it is. Let me see. 31. He's 31. Oh, 98. He would be born in 95. Bonner County, Kootenai County. Grayson J. Bailey. Oh, the only ticket I see is speeding. And I see one more in 2016. Oh, shit. Here we go. All public record, all in Idaho. Grayson J. Bailey. There it is. DRUG, controlled substance, alcohol, 21 unlawful. What does it say? All dismissed, guilty, withheld judgment. That means you don't get in trouble. Dismissed, prosecutor. I wonder if the guy who was related to Ashlyn was a CI. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if this was a CI known house? Oh my goodness. Kootenai County. Who was the attorney? McHugh, Bernard. That was the other one. Let me look at this one. Who was the attorney? Roger Hellman. Stacy retained. That was Bonner County. Wow. I wonder. Well, I'm going to keep digging. We're going to find out if there is a connection through the 6th roommate that was on the lease, but unfortunately not. And that's all the way up by Rathdrum, guys. If you're wondering where this is all the way by Sandpoint, Rathdrum. Rathdrum is right down here. There's Athol. There's Rathdrum. I'm wondering if that might be a connection. Rathdrum, Hayden, and then you go all the way up. And that was driving up. That's driving up almost near the border, right? Here's the border right here. So he's gotten some, oh, it didn't say the amounts. This is where you cross over right into Canada. Huh. What do you know? There's quite a few people I've seen get tickets up here that live all the way over here in Washington, and people that get tickets here going up into Canada that live way down here. That's interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to look into this a little bit more because there's Bonner, there's Kootenai County, and it goes right into the border right here. Very interesting. Wow. I want a whole salary for doing this. Yeah, he might have been Navy. I'll find out. We'll find out. What kids of age wants parents to be there? Yeah, really, at a birthday party, Maddie's birthday party. How can Steve not sue Idaho with Payne working as an executive project manager, right? Oh, I know. It's crazy. I know, Senor. I know. Is Ashlyn Couch related in some way? Is she? I don't know. We're just looking, we're speculating, we're looking at the connections, we're looking at family. And the only reason that we started here was because of this video. That was it. This is the only reason we got here, is because this video. I said, who is this guy? Who are these men? And we just started digging. So y'all, there is a McClure that works for Given Pursley. I bet. Well, it's the next project. I'm going to die. You guys, this is wild. Be safe there out on the internet, you guys. Stay safe. And it looks like, I don't know how they're related, but it's on his side. And it does say Grayson J. Bailey. And according to the Idaho repository, I just showed you, there is a lot of activity. And some of the areas you have to look at where they were stopped and given tickets, which is kind of wild. I don't know how they're related, but there's a lot to this. A lot. So y'all stay safe, be well. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and hype, and have a great Freedom Friday. Going to Canada to buy cheap vitamins. Perhaps, we don't know. We can still ask, how do they connect? And what's the financial bridge? Y'all be well.
Now they call me an outlaw, call me a breeze, shaking the leaves right off of the trees. Ain't no speed limits on the choices I make, with every single risk that I happily take. Got a heart like an engine, loud and true, writing my own rules. Nothing brand new, just an old soul singing with the modern beat, dusting off the pavement under my feet. This is my highway, my open sky. I've got the wind, can tie me down. I'm leaving my tracks all over this town. Freedom, freedom, yeah, ooh, yeah. And if I get lost in the dark of the night, I know my own stars will show me the light. No more shadows to cover my face. I'm running my pace, I'm winning my race. Freedom, yeah, just let it roll.